The Anna Kashfi scandal. The woman who deceived Marlon Brando. Throughout his life, Marlon Brando had relationships with many women. Mexican actresses, Tahitian dancers, Hollywood stars, but none were as mysterious and complex as Anna Kashfi. Because Anna had managed to deceive not only Brando, but all of Hollywood, creating an entirely new identity for herself, and building a career upon this lie. Was this Hollywood's most fascinating identity theft story? Or was it simply a post-war woman's struggle for survival? If you listen to this story until the end, you'll discover how a woman changed her identity, how she deceived Hollywood's biggest star, and how everything eventually collapsed. If you enjoy these kinds of real Hollywood scandals, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because I'll be sharing more shocking stories in upcoming videos. Now let's take this incredible story from the beginning. It was the autumn of 1955, and Hollywood's golden age was in full splendor. Studios were searching for new stars every day. Agencies were scouring the world to discover talented actors. Working in the ranks of Paramount Pictures was a young British actress, and her name was Anna Kashfi. She presented herself as having been born in India, raised in Calcutta, the daughter of a noble family. She attracted attention with her dark hair, olive skin, and exotic beauty. Hollywood at that time was infatuated with precisely this kind of image: mysterious, Eastern, different. Anna Kashfi was exactly the type the studios were looking for, and she knew this fact very well. Paramount began using Anna for small roles. In 1956, she appeared in the film The Mountain, followed by Battle Hymn. The roles weren't major, but they were attention-grabbing enough. Everyone on the sets was talking about her. Who was this mysterious Indian beauty? Where had she come from? She said very little about her family. Anna had mastered maintaining this mystery. When questions were asked about her past, she would give vague answers, smile, and change the subject. This attitude made her even more intriguing, because Hollywood fed on mystery. At that time, Marlon Brando was the world's most desired bachelor in his early 30s, having won an Oscar for On the Waterfront, becoming a legend with A Streetcar Named Desire. Brando wasn't just handsome, he was a genius who redefined acting, who shook audiences with his raw emotions, who made everything you saw on screen feel real. Women were in love with him. Men wanted to be like him. But Brando's private life was complicated. He was passionate toward women, but also distant, falling in love yet afraid of commitment. He regularly attended sessions with his psychoanalyst, struggling with childhood traumas. His mother had been an alcoholic and died young, while his father was a harsh and distant man. The deep loneliness and searching within Brando constantly drove him toward new relationships. In early 1957, Brando met Anna Kashfi at a party. He was immediately impressed. Anna's quiet beauty, mysterious aura, and that inexplicable allure instantly captivated him. Anna also saw the opportunity that fate had placed before her. Being with Hollywood's biggest star wasn't just a romantic relationship, it was a key that could elevate her career to its peak. The chemistry between them developed rapidly. Brando thought Anna was different. She didn't resemble other Hollywood actresses. She seemed more real, more authentic. Of course, Brando didn't know that this authenticity of Anna's was actually a masterfully crafted lie. As their relationship progressed rapidly, Anna began sharing some information with Brando about her past. She told him she was born in India, that her family was noble, that they had moved to England at a young age. Every detail had been perfectly planned. Anna had been telling this story for years, and by now she had repeated it so many times that perhaps she herself was beginning to forget her real past. In the magical world of Hollywood, the line between reality and fantasy was already very thin. Anna had crossed this line so skillfully that no one questioned it. Meanwhile, far away in England, Anna's real family was anxiously following the newspaper reports. Because a person named Anna Kashfi had never actually been born. Her real name was Joan O'Callaghan, and she was the daughter of an ordinary English family. Her father, William O'Callaghan, was an ordinary worker in a factory in Wales. Her mother, Phoebe, was a complete drama queen, quarrelsome, ambitious, and a woman who was never happy about her daughter going to Hollywood. Joan, that is Anna, had tried every way to escape from this family. She had wanted to be an actress since childhood, but she knew that as an ordinary English girl, she had no chance in Hollywood. So she made a decision. If Hollywood wanted exotic beauties, she would give them one. This is where the story gets really interesting, because Joan's connection to India wasn't entirely fictional. She had indeed spent part of her childhood in India. Her father had served there with the British Army. But Joan wasn't an Indian princess. She was a child of a British immigrant family living in Calcutta. Taking this small truth and turning it into a big lie wasn't difficult for Joan. She knew India, was familiar with the culture, could even speak a little Hindi. All that remained was filling in the details and playing the role. When she came to Hollywood, Joan O'Callaghan left that identity behind and was reborn as Anna Kashfi. In October 1957, Brando and Anna married secretly. The wedding was a small ceremony with only a few close friends. When the press got wind of the news, they went crazy. Marlon Brando had gotten married, and his wife was an exotic Indian beauty. Photographs appeared on the front pages of newspapers. Headlines declared, "Brando marries Indian princess." Anna Kashfi became famous overnight. She was no longer just an actress playing small roles. She was Marlon Brando's wife, and in Hollywood, this was one of the most important titles. But the marriage wasn't the fairy tale Anna had expected. Brando was a man full of peculiarities. At home, he would play the bongo drums for hours, read books, engage in philosophical discussions with friends. He was emotionally distant, often disappearing, not coming home for days. Anna thought she had captured Brando, but now she was trying to hold on to him. Tension between them began to escalate. Brando was starting to realize that Anna wasn't as mysterious as she presented herself. There were inconsistencies in her behavior. The answers she gave to some questions didn't match up. But before more serious problems emerged, something unexpected happened. Anna became pregnant. In May 1958, their son Christian Devi Brando was born. This birth changed everything for both Anna and Marlon. Brando began thinking about his responsibilities as a father. Anna was no longer just Brando's wife, she had become the mother of his child. But the cracks in their marriage were deepening rather than closing. Brando began asking more questions about Anna's past. Why did she never see her family? Why did she never mention relatives in India? Anna gave evasive answers each time, but Brando's suspicions were now fully awakened. Then the bomb dropped. In September 1958, a tabloid newspaper in London published a shocking story. Brando's wife is a fraud, real identity English. The newspaper revealed that Anna Kashfi was actually Joan O'Callaghan, born in Wales, the daughter of an ordinary English family. The journalists who broke the story had reached Anna's real family. Her mother Phoebe O'Callaghan was revealing her daughter's lies to the entire world. Photographs were published, childhood pictures of young Joan, family photos. Everything was out in the open. Hollywood was shocked. This wasn't just a small lie. Anna Kashfi had completely changed her identity, maintained this lie for years, and deceived Hollywood's biggest star. When Brando first heard the news, he couldn't believe it. He called his wife and demanded an explanation. Anna first denied it, then went on the defensive. Yes, her real name was Joan, but she claimed she was born in India. Her father had been stationed there. She felt Indian. Her choice of the name Anna Kashfi wasn't a deception, but a personal choice. But it was too late now. Brando's trust had been shattered. He didn't even know who the woman he married was. What else was being hidden? Meanwhile, Anna's family didn't stay silent either. Her mother Phoebe, in statements to journalists, described her daughter as a liar and ungrateful. "She's my daughter Joan, no one else. She was never born in India. She's always been English," she said. Father William remained quieter, but he too was disturbed by what his daughter had done. The family was completely torn apart. Anna had rejected her family because they didn't fit her new identity. Now her family was exposing her to the entire world. The scandal grew and grew. Newspapers published new details every day. Anna's real birth certificate surfaced. September 30, 1934, Cardiff, Wales. No connection to India, just an ordinary English identity. School records were found. Former teachers gave interviews. Joan was a quiet girl. She was always daydreaming, they said. Childhood friends remembered her. Everything was disproving Anna Kashfi's lie. Everyone in Hollywood was talking about this scandal. At cocktail parties, between takes on sets, in production meetings. Marlon Brando had been deceived, and everyone knew it. Brando's reaction was both anger and disappointment. He was already a man distrustful toward women. His childhood traumas had made him vulnerable. Now he was learning that the woman he married had been living under a completely fake identity. The trust he felt toward Anna was completely shattered. In October 1958, just 1 year after getting married, Brando filed for divorce. The reason was stated as irreconcilable differences, but everyone knew the real reason. The court process was going to be brutal because there was also a small baby involved, Christian Devi Brando, and the battle that was now beginning would be over custody of the child. The divorce case was heard in Los Angeles courts, and the media closely followed every hearing. Anna tried to defend herself in court. Yes, she had changed her name, but this wasn't a crime. Many actresses use stage names. She felt Indian because she had spent an important part of her childhood in India. She said she had no intention of deceiving Brando. She had only created an image for her career. But Brando's lawyers were ruthless. They argued that Anna lived a life built on lies, that she was unreliable, and that she didn't deserve custody of the child. Throughout the court process, very private details emerged. Anna's psychiatric history, the fights during her marriage with Brando, physical confrontations, both were accusing each other. Anna claimed that Brando was a negligent husband, constantly away from home, interested in other women. Brando said that Anna was unstable, uncontrolled, and dangerous for the child. The truth was that both were troubled. Brando was a man who was emotionally distant with attachment issues. Anna was a woman experiencing an identity crisis and trying to escape from her past. When these two broken people came together, the result could only be disaster. In 1959, the divorce was finalized. The court gave custody of Christian to Anna, but also granted Brando regular visitation rights. However, this decision wasn't the end of the war, just the beginning. In the coming years, Brando and Anna would go to court dozens of times for custody of their child. Christian sometimes stayed with his mother, sometimes with his father. These constant back and forths would leave deep marks on the child. Years later, Christian Brando would experience serious psychological problems and be involved in a murder. But that story would come later. Now let's return to Anna Kashfi. After the scandal broke, her career was practically over. Hollywood wasn't hiring her anymore. She had deceived not just Brando but the entire industry, and the price was heavy. Studios didn't trust her. If she could lie about her identity, what else could she lie about? She got a few small roles in the 1960s, but none were significant. In 1960, she starred in The Night of the Quarter Moon, then appeared in a few television series. But these became fewer and fewer, and by the end of the 1960s, Anna Kashfi had practically been erased from Hollywood. So was Anna really a con artist, or just a woman trying to survive? This question is still debated today. From one perspective, Anna had consciously built a lie. She had changed her identity, fabricated her past, and built a career on this lie. She hadn't told the truth even when marrying Brando. From this angle, yes, there was deception. But on the other hand, what Anna did was play by Hollywood's own rules. Hollywood in the 1950s was built on fakeness. Studios were changing actors' names, rewriting their pasts, creating fake romantic relationships. Everyone was playing a role. Anna's crime was playing this role too well. It's also important to remember that Anna was a woman who grew up in the post-war period. World War II had devastated Europe. Families were torn apart. People were trying to build new lives. Identity was fluid in that era. Many people were leaving their past behind and starting over. What Anna did was perhaps a strategy for survival. As an ordinary English girl, she had no chance in Hollywood, but as an exotic beauty, doors were opening. Can we blame her for this? What's interesting is that the Anna Kashfi scandal wasn't the first or last in Hollywood. Other actors had also changed their identities, hidden their pasts, created new personas. For example, Rudolph Valentino's real name was Rodolfo Guglielmi. Marilyn Monroe was born Norma Jane Mortensen. Rock Hudson's real name was Roy Scherer. Of course, these name changes were usually done by studios, and were seen as acceptable. Anna's situation was different because she had changed her identity herself, and not just her name but her entire ethnic origin and personal history had been rewritten. This was going too far even for Hollywood to accept. As the years progressed, Anna completely withdrew from public life. Her relationship with her son Christian was complicated, sometimes close, sometimes cold. Christian was a child who grew up in the middle of his mother and father's constant warfare. Both Brando and Anna had problems, and these reflected onto the child. In 1990, Christian Brando killed his sister's boyfriend and went to prison. This tragedy showed the long-term consequences of Anna and Marlon's failed marriage. A child had been lost in the middle of his parents' war. When Anna Kashfi died in 2015 at the age of 80, newspapers brought up the old scandal again. Headlines declared, "Woman who deceived Brando dies." In obituaries, she was still referred to as the actress known for her controversial identity. She could never escape that scandal throughout her life. Whatever she did, whoever she was, everyone only remembered her as the woman with the fake identity. But perhaps we should look at the story from a different angle. Who was Joan O'Callaghan? A child of a poor family, a young girl who wanted to be an actress. When she came to Hollywood, she saw that she had no chance and made a decision: she would change. She created Anna Kashfi because Joan O'Callaghan had no place in Hollywood. Was this a lie? Yes, but it was also a survival strategy. And for a while, it worked. Anna Kashfi got roles at Paramount Pictures, was invited to Hollywood parties, married Marlon Brando. For a time, the dream became reality. Of course, the lie couldn't be sustained forever. The truth always comes out, especially when you're famous. Anna perhaps knew that the lie would blow up one day, but decided to take the risk. And when it did blow up, what she lost wasn't just her career. Her reputation, her marriage, and perhaps her true identity were also lost. Because what happened to Joan O'Callaghan? Did she die like Anna Kashfi? Or were they never the same person? As for Marlon Brando, he married and divorced many more times after Anna. He bought an island in Tahiti, settled there, married a local woman. He had 11 children from different women. His career continued. The Godfather, Apocalypse Now, Last Tango in Paris. But the Anna Kashfi scandal never left him. In interviews, he would sometimes mention her, calling her my first great disappointment. Once he told a journalist, "When I married Anna, I thought I was in love with her. But the person I was in love with wasn't real. She was a phantom." And phantoms eventually disappear. Perhaps the most painful part of this story is this. Anna Kashfi perhaps truly loved Brando. Maybe there was a calculation at first, an opportunity for her career.
But over time, real feelings developed. Brando was also in love with Anna, at least for a while. Two people truly loved each other. But the lie poisoned everything. Trust was shattered. The relationship collapsed. What if Anna had told the truth from the beginning? Would Brando still have married her? Perhaps not. But at least their relationship would have been built on honesty. Hollywood history is full of such stories. Fake identities, hidden pasts, exposed lies. But the Anna Kashfi case was special because it wasn't just a name change. It was the creation of an entirely new identity. And this identity had deceived even Hollywood's biggest star. Perhaps this said something about Hollywood itself. If everyone is playing a role, what's the difference between truth and lies? In conclusion, the Anna Kashfi story shows us this. Identity is a complex thing. Sometimes people feel they have to change, perhaps because the identity they were born with doesn't suit them. Perhaps because it's the only way to survive. Anna was born as Joan, but wanted to live as Anna. Was this a crime? Not according to Hollywood's rules. But according to the rules of the real world, yes, it was a deception. And in the end, she paid the price. She lost her career, her marriage, her reputation. But she never lost one thing, her story. Even today, 70 years later, we're talking about Anna Kashfi. Countless Hollywood actresses have been forgotten, but Anna is remembered. Perhaps this was what she wanted, not to be forgotten. Joan O'Callaghan would have been forgotten, but Anna Kashfi made it into history. With a scandal, a lie, a tragedy, but she made it. And Marlon Brando, he never forgot either. Until the end of his life, he talked about Anna, carried the traces of that relationship. Perhaps she had taught him something, that trust is dangerous, that identity is so fragile, that love can sometimes be built on lies. Brando was with many women throughout his life, but Anna Kashfi was special, because she was the only woman who truly deceived Brando. What does this story teach us? Perhaps this. In Hollywood, everyone plays a role. Some play the role on sets, some in real life. Anna Kashfi did both, and in the end, the role consumed the player. Joan disappeared, Anna remained, but Anna was also a phantom, never real. So what was left? Just a story, a scandal, a legend. The story of Marlon Brando and Anna Kashfi shows us how blurred identity and reality are in Hollywood. Perhaps the greatest deception is Hollywood itself, and Anna Kashfi was simply one of the best students of that deception.